the Renaissance. The very word means rebirth. We remember it for its towering geniuses, Da Vinci, Michelangelo, Copernicus. But behind these gilded halls of art and science, shadows moved. Death, fear, heresy. The Renaissance had a darker side, where faith bred fanaticism, where plague decimated millions, where beauty collided with horror. Welcome to Lore by Elsa. This is the dark Renaissance, its atrocities, its haunting influence, and how it echoes still reach across the centuries into the music we hear, the stories we tell, and the nightmares we conjure. At the height of its splendor, the Renaissance birthed some of humanity's most transcendent works, but it's also revealed our obsession with mortality. In art, we see skulls resting beside silk. In poetry, we hear whispers of divine punishment. In science, bodies were dissected under flickering lamplight to uncover the secrets of life and death. While kings waged war and inquisitors burned heretics, artists captured the darkness, not just as witness, but as creators of haunting beauty. Bosch became the master of nightmare. His works, like The Garden of Earthly Delights, conjure surreal visions of sin and punishment. His twisted forms, half human, half monster, reflected fears of damnation, the apocalypse, and humanity's uncontrollable desires. Michelangelo, though a titan of beauty, equally explored torment. His Last Judgment fresco in the Sistine Chapel reveals souls dragged to hell, devoured by serpents, punished by angels. Even within divine art, horror lingered. Caravaggio revolutionized darkness itself, literally. Through chiaroscuro, he created stark contrasts where light exposes sin and shadows conceal damnation. Works like Judith beheading Holofernes deliver brutal honesty, not just death, but intimate, immediate violence. These artists dared to embrace death, suffering, and the supernatural, not to glorify horror, but to stare directly into its eyes and render it eternal. While artists flourished, horror unfolded in the streets, courts, and pyres of Europe. The Black Death, a plague that killed up to 50 million, a third of Europe's population, causing starvation, riots, and desperation. Panic fueled blame. Communities were massacred in cities. Scapegoats for the plague's wrath occurred left and right. The Inquisition. Torture chambers, racks, iron masks. The church sought to crush heresy, silence mystics, and purify faith with iron and fire. Thousands were executed under the guise of divine justice. Witch hunts. Women, midwives, healers, accused of dark pacts with Satan, subjected to unspeakable tortures, drowned or burned. In Bamberg and Würzburg, entire towns lived in terror as mass executions claimed hundreds of lives. St. Bartholomew's Day Massacre. In a single night, 5,000 to 30,000 Protestants were slaughtered by Catholic mobs, their blood flowing through Paris streets. The desire to understand the human body led to grave robbing, public dissections of criminals, and dehumanizing experiments advancing science at the gruesome cost. Out of these horrors grew an unsettling beauty. Art, music, and architecture turned death into visual poetry. Skulls beside fruit and still lifes whispering memento mori, remember you must die. Cathedral spires pierced the heavens like daggers. Alchemists etched mysterious symbols blending science and mysticism. Even in darkness, the Renaissance found art. The Dark Renaissance was not only a time of blood and fear, it was a time of dangerous questions. Questions about life, death, and the nature of reality itself. For centuries, alchemists sought to transmute lead into gold, to find the philosopher's stone, to unlock immortality itself. Though their mystical goals failed, their tireless experiments birthed the foundations of chemistry and laboratory practice. The concept of controlled experimentation, titration, purification, distillation, all began at the hands of these occult seekers. While inquisitors burned heretics, others looked upward. Nicholas Copernicus defied religious dogma, posing the heliocentric model, the sun at the center of the solar system. Galileo Galilei pointed his telescope at Jupiter's moons, revealing that the heavens were not immutable, but ever-changing. Johannes Kepler mapped elliptical orbits of planets, breaking the Aristotelian dogma. Humanists turned their gaze inward into the body and soul. Andreas Vesalius, through forbidden dissections, mapped human anatomy in detail never before seen. Artists like Leonardo da Vinci dissected cadavers for both science and art, blending biology and beauty. These Renaissance anatomists laid the groundwork for modern medicine and surgery, defying religious prohibitions that treated the body as sacred and untouchable. The Renaissance taught us something terrifying and liberating. That knowledge often grows where fear once ruled. That by dissecting death, observing the stars, and daring to challenge faith, humanity unlocked entire worlds of discovery. From this dangerous dance of light and shadow, modern science was born. Centuries later, the Dark Renaissance still breathes through horror films, games, and music. In film, such as The Witch, the post-Renaissance Puritan period influenced by Renaissance occult fears, religious paranoia, folklore, heresy, satanic panic, witch trials, and isolation. The Seventh Seal, set during the Black Death, with the night playing chess against death, memento mori, religious doubt, and apocalyptic dread. The Crow. Eric Draven's journey is profoundly humanistic, his soul caught between vengeance and love, grief, and redemption. In games, Silent Hill, fog, drenched purgatories, born from religious guilt, humanism in twisted form, the study of human nature, the soul, and man's place in the cosmos. This becomes a dark inversion here, where the game's constantly exploring guilt, grief, sin, and the fractured psyche. Characters here confront their own internal demons, mirroring Renaissance on mortality, salvation, and personal responsibility. Bloodborne, a living Renaissance nightmare blending plague, the occult, and cosmic horror. Further into the themes of humanism, corrupted inquiry, given that the Renaissance is the rebirth of inquiry, knowledge, and man's pursuit of understanding. In music, we have a few examples here, such as the Sisters of Mercy. Ties to the Renaissance themes here through Memento Mori, their lyrical preoccupation with death, fading beauty, lost love, and existential despair echoes Renaissance vanitas art. Then there is the band Hymn, His Infernal Majesty. Love and death, duality. Phil Fallow's love metal embodies Renaissance vanitas, sensuality wrapped around decay and transience. Romantic humanism, Hymn elevates emotional torment into art. The symbolism here, the heartogram blends sacred geometry and occult symbolism, which emerged in popularity during the Renaissance revival of mysticism. And then we've got the theme of melancholy as beauty, echoes in the entire aesthetic that is Hymn. Lord of the Lost. Theatrically and grandiosity, their fusion of modern metal with Baroque-style grandeur is a modern echo of Renaissance drama and elaborate religious art. Sacred versus profane conflict here. Many of the songs explore divine punishment, sin, salvation, and internal conflict, which is key Renaissance theological debates. Its aesthetic influences, their costumes, stage sets, and videos often resemble Renaissance-inspired cathedral imagery. Perhaps its deepest roots burrowed into literature, where writers continue to draw from these obsessions. Dante's Inferno, the Divine Comedy. Through writing at the cusp of the Renaissance, Dante laid out the groundwork for his vivid depictions of hell, sin, and divine justice. His infernal imagery would inspire generations into horror's fascination with sin, judgment, and eternal damnation. Mary Shelley, with her book Frankenstein, it's a product of Enlightenment and Renaissance influence. Scientific ambition colliding with moral consequence. Frankenstein is the Renaissance thirst for forbidden knowledge given flesh. Edgar Allan Poe. His stories of madness, premature burial, and death echo Memento Mori. Poe transforms Renaissance anxieties into psychological horror. H.P. Lovecraft. His ancient texts and cosmic horrors echo Renaissance occultism. The horror of confronting knowledge man was never to possess. Modern authors such as Anne Rice, Neil Gaiman, and Clive Barker continue weaving these threads of beauty and horror, light and shadow. And even dark academia, with its candlelit libraries and obsession with death, draws directly from the dark Renaissance atmosphere. The Renaissance left its fingerprints not just on stories and films, but on how we wear our grief and how we romanticize the beautiful and the macabre to this day. During the Renaissance, death wasn't hidden, it was worn. Mourning attire became deeply ritualized, with black silk gowns signifying grief, dignity, and piety. Jet jewelry, carved from fossilized wood, became a symbol for loss. Veils covered faces to symbolize separation from the living. These mourning fashions evolved directly into the Victorian mourning era, where Queen Victoria herself set the tone for generations, dressed entirely in black for decades after Prince Albert's death. Centuries later, the same visual language lives on. The modern Gothic subculture borrows directly from Renaissance mourning, with their black lace, corsets, veils, high collars, and somber elegance. Even high-fashion houses like Alexander McQueen and Rick Owens have drawn heavily on these themes, intertwining death, beauty, and power into breathtaking couture. The Renaissance teaches us that horror isn't absent of beauty, it's beauty sharpened into blade. Every dark cathedral, every haunting melody, every flickering horror scene owes a debt to this shadowed past, because sometimes the most beautiful stories are told in the dark. Thank you for stepping into the shadows with me. If the dark, the cryptic, and the hidden truths speak to your soul, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the descent. Until next time, stay curious, stay cautious, and never trust the surface.